Hello, my name is Jürgen Rinelli and I'm a senior software consultant. In my today's video, I'm going to show you the brand new Endpoint Central MSP edition with the new security features available in cloud and in on-prem. So have fun watching. All right, here we are in the brand new Endpoint Central MSP edition. I'm here in the cloud version. I just registered a new account and imported just one computer. So within this Endpoint Central Cloud edition, we have new security features, and the same apply to the on-prem edition. When it comes to the on-prem edition, of course, we need a database, and there is coming the PostgreSQL, and it is real performant until 10,000 clients, no problem. You always can switch to an MS SQL. Yeah, of course, the cloud edition, you don't need to care about that. All right, the access to the console in either way, on-prem or cloud, is established through browsers. And with Endpoint Central, you can manage Windows, Mac, and Linux systems, and you have a hardware and a software lifecycle. Within the MSP edition, you have a containerization with customers. So you build customers, and no data can be exchanged through one customer to another customer. Fine. What do we have here? We have a home tab with basic informations. Everything is linked in here, whatever you see. And here we have some how-tos in the base of this page, and knowledge base, FAQs, and videos. And the roadmap is live here too, available for everyone. And you even can share a new idea. Let's go first in some more basics. Let's switch to the admin tab. What do we have here? Security settings, privacy settings, and such. We have integrations with an API, and we have add-ons. These are the new features: application control, vulnerability management, browser security, BitLocker management, and OS deployment. And I'm going to show them today too. As well, here you can define your new customers. You add the customers here, customer's name, company name, and details, licensing details, your licensing model, a rebranding, and even a custom fields you can add here. As well, we do have a billing option with service plan. You can add a service plan with the currencies and cost per computer, mobile device, and servers. And what else do we have? Yeah, of course, security. Users. Access to the console is granted through user authentication. So you add your administrators, technicians, you add them here with email, name, you give them a role, application control manager, auditor, or a patch manager. Patch manager only can access this module, nothing else. And you can associate your users to customers, to one or more customers, and only those can be managed from that user then. As well, there is a role builder, so you can build your own roles for your scope. And there is a two-factor authentication possibility, user account policy, password policy, all that, and IP restrictions. All that is for more in-depth security. Well, now let's have a look how an agent can be deployed. An agent can either be deployed through a push installation at computers. You select your customer, and you will have your work group or such in here, or your domain, and search for the respective computers and push them. More installations are through agent installations, GPO, remote installation, Azure Autopilot, Apple Business Manager, and there are even more methods, SCCM, OS deployment, or AWS instances. When you have added a domain in here through the domain connector, what is deployed within a distribution server. A distribution server is a repository for patches, software, and OS deployment, and of course, as well, be connected to the respective domain of the customer. When you add that domains, you can add a scope of management policy as well, and provide an automatic installation of agents when a new computer is added within the domain. Install agent and notify me, or just only a notification. You can delete inactive computers too, or just a notification. I always recommend that notify me if a computer has not contacted the server in the last 15 days or something. And this data of not communicating agents, you always can see as well within the summary here, agent last contact time. A remote office can be established for your customers, not only one, you can have more for the distant locations of the customers, and add them here through distribution server or direct communication. And within a IP scoping, you can even automatically add the computers to the respective remote offices. Fine, that's for some basics. Now, let's go and have a look. Configurations. What is that? You can have configurations for Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. As you see, most of them you would do through the Active Directory. But even if you have added only work groups, it comes in handy. User management, Wi-Fi settings, security policies, and such. The same for Mac and for Linux. And there are some templates also available. Disabling Adobe Reader updates, and disabling Windows updates and such. Windows Store, even that. And there are collections. So user collections, computer collections. I will show you how that looks like. The dialogues. You can add a startup, make a startup script even out of this. All right, let's have a look. USB security, Wi-Fi settings, rec key. I always use the same things to show. So secure USB, portable devices. You can block them and easily allow specific device instances if you wish to. And then there are Wi-Fi settings. Disable the adapter or enable it, and even add, modify, or delete Wi-Fi profiles. And there is a bunch of different types you can add. And registry would look like that. It changes. Write, delete, or add, and then import is possible too. So that's just about the look and feel of some dialogues. The next, what we do have is the targeting. This is a real important step. So here, either remote office or domain, you can choose. I do have only a workgroup in here. If you have a domain in here, you even can select OUs or AD groups. And here we have right now remote office, computers, dynamic custom groups, IP addresses, machine types, and such. You can exclude targets in the same way as you can include them. and you can exclude as many targets as you wish. You can implement as well as many targets as you like. That's about the configurations. What else do we have here? We have a script repository. That's a cool thing. You can add manually scripts for your specific customers or all customers. And with this types for Windows, Mac, and Linux, you also have a template database, 400 templates coming from ManageEngine directly for different platforms and categories, and you can add those scripts to your repository. Yeah, auto login but add it to the repository. You have it in here, and then you can deploy it to computers or users as a computer user configuration. Well, yeah, auto login but fresh out from the templates won't help anything. So let's go to modify it, and there is a built-in script editor helping you editing the script right away. That's about the configurations. By the way, configurations, threads, software deployment, that's English. If you wish, you can personalize it with the multi-language pack into other languages too. That's easy done with a click. All right, let's go out there. Threads and patches. That's something where you can save a lot of time and resources. Let's go into this company. We do have a dashboard. Always we have a dashboard somewhere. Vulnerabilities with a lot of different informations, last security news, everything is linked. We have security configurations, systems view, and patches. And yeah, what can we patch? Let's have a look. We have the settings with the patch database settings. We can patch Microsoft, everything, the update server. We don't need it anymore from Microsoft. Third-party patches, drivers, BIOS, and Mac OS and third-party, and Linux OS and third-party is possible too. Well, when we have an agent out there, a scan will be performed and missing patches will be summarized within this category, missing patches. And what do we see? We have here the severity coming directly from the respective software vendors. We have then patch description, approval status. We have where is the patches missing, and a platform reboot required or not, and a patch uninstall, a rollback supported or not supported, and more columns if you wish. Well, the patch rollback not supported is nothing about the unwillingness from ManageEngine not to provide that possibility. It's coming from the respective software vendors. All right, the approval status, what's that? Only approved green patches can be rolled out in an automatism in the company. These red ones, red flags, not approved ones, I only can publish manually. That's done with a click. Install publish patches. We give it a name, and here we just select a deployment policy, the when and the how it will be installed. And yeah, we even can publish it into a self-service portal, possible too. The target is already defined through the missing patches dialog, and we just go and deploy, and it is out there, it is running. We can mark a patch always as approved or not approved, and we can add it even to the declined patches. If you wish to decline all whole applications, software, you can do so with the dialog decline patches over here on the left. And what else do we have on, for informations? We have here bulletin ID. It is linked with more details bulletin ID, queue number, all linked to the Microsoft support in that case, and the patch ID. Bulletin ID linked, we see the languages supported, and we have a direct link to that patch. This patch is coming from Microsoft, from every software vendor. It is coming directly, nothing hosted. Fine, let's close that dialog. I talked about some automatisms where we can spare some resources. That's done through the deployments. First of all, we can create a test and approve group. So we go in here, create a group, a static group for Windows, Mac, or Linux. And I always recommend using key users as well, not only your test machines, because key users are working with the applications. They use that application in depth. Only they are able to tell you if everything is working. Microsoft updates, just choose what you like to publish in the task group. You can patch everything, you can patch only specific or everything except something. Same thing with the third-party patches. Even there are exceptions. Some exceptions could be in the third-party area, a VPN client or Citrix workspace or a sub GUI or whatever. Driver updates, possible too. Here you could delay the patch rollout even in the test group if you wish to, from vendor release certain days. The deployment policy, just choose the time frame, and here is the magic done. Automatically approve tested patches after a certain amount of days. I always use 3 days, by meaning that when a patch, let's say 10 systems are in that group, 10 systems are online and should receive that patch. If only one system is communicating an issue with the technical installation, then that patch will never be approved. So it is a real safe thing. Fine, let's go out there with cancel, and the next step would be creating a task and automatic rollout for all your environment. In such case, you choose Windows, Linux, or Mac, and you give it a name, and then you choose whatever you wish to deploy. Just critical important patches, maybe. You give it, you say specific applications only, all, or exceptions, as we have had it within the test group. Same thing. Antivirus updates, you could publish them here too, driver updates. And here, only approved patches can be rolled out automatically, 0 day from release or approval. Next. Here is the deployment policy to select. Create critical and important patches clients. I created one with 2 time frames every weekday, and you could publish automatically even in the self-service portal. The deployment policy, how does it look like? The when and the how. Let's create one together. Create a policy. You name it. Give it a name. Patches, clients. Let's say save. You give it a time frame, weeks, or based on patch Tuesday. Let's select every week. Let's select every day except Saturday and Sunday. Give it the time frame, lunchtime. Give it a second time frame for all the road warriors out there working different hours. Here, the next would be download patches from server to agent. The pre-caching, yeah, of course, we would like that. And initiate deployment when at system startup, refresh cycle, or either of those. Refresh cycle is the cycle, the 90 minutes time frame when an agent, based on his startup time will connect on its own the server and asking if there is something scheduled. Save and continue. Next step in here, pre-deployment activities. You could establish a wake online if you wish, a pre-deployment reboot, or add custom scripts. These custom scripts are the scripts you have within the configurations in the script repository. Pre-deployment user notifications. If you wish, you can inform your users about the deployment with a message, allow users to skip deployment, a force deployment, and show the deployment progress. The next would be post-deployment activity. If you do not select anything, nothing will happen. No reboot or shutdown. If you wish to, of course, you can establish it. A forced reboot, a delay reboot with time intervals and exceptions or some for the service. On the shutdown side, we do have the same as like on the reboot, force shutdown, delay shutdown, and the restart and then shutdown. This is really handy when it comes to feature updates or something, because Windows always it is running smoothly right now in the background. But when you reboot your system, there are post-deployment activities, or when you log in first time, then it finishes with the installations. And this can be already done here and then shut down the system. If you do not add anything within these activities, nothing will happen. Okay, fine, that's it about the deployment policy. Let's go back into our task automatism for the rollout of the clients. The deployment policy in here. Next would be the targeting. We already talked about the targeting. Let's choose one computer in here to continue. Next. Oh, here. This is really cool. A real nice feature. When you're feeling lonely, when you do not receive any emails, here is a big help. Notification every hour if you wish on every status of the deployments. But we can leave it too, because we have our dashboards. We would have here a dashboard. Now this is suspended. I just resume the task. And you see everything orange is there is something missing, something is coming. Red would be a failure, and green will be deployed already successfully, and the blue would be it is in the pipe right now. And you always can save an automatism as new without target or with all targets, so you can easily build up strategies. So that's an overall process now. Testing automatically, approving automatically, and roll out then the approved patches automatically. What else do we have in here? Threads and patches. The threads part is new. So let's go into the threads part. I'll switch to another system now in order to show more, because I only have one system in that fresh registration of Endpoint Central MSP. Well, here we are. And as you see, a lot of more vulnerabilities. You have informations about the vulnerabilities with solutions, manual resolutions, or if there is an automatic resolution, you can apply it even here. And there are different views available as well, categorized. Detected ZVEs, with the scores 2 and 3, and you can filter them, you can sort them, and you have informations about them, and we're even connected to Mitre, to the respective site. Zero-day vulnerabilities. If there are some, you can fix them, you see on which system, and system misconfigurations. You can deploy those configurations here. You have informations about that misconfiguration, and even that is available in the better view. High-risk software. With just one click, what is end of life, expired, on which systems, and what will be expiring next. Peer-to-peer and remote desktop sharing. If there are any applications out there, you'll find them here. Web server misconfigurations. You are not able to deploy anything here, but you see a resolution, a description and a resolution. And of course, different view available too. Port audit. All the ports are open and you have a detailed view on which system, which port with which uses which software. So when you go back, you even have a detailed view with one click, everything. What else do we have? We have that compliance module, by meaning we have built-in templates for Windows, Linux, and servers and workstations. What's that? These are these CIS benchmarks. If you need an audit, system hardening, you can run an audit. You create an audit. And when you have an audit created, you can see that here. You will have an overall compliance view, failed errors. Now let's go into one of these benchmarks. You can export everything as an Excel or PDF, and you see failed and passed. Passed, really good. Failed, why? There's a summary, there's a rationale, and there's even a how to fix. How to build these policy groups, how to build an audit. There exists a separate video on this channel where I show it in detail. There is a system quarantine policy available too. Create policy on a specific group with conditions, vulnerability, let's say, exploit CVSS value above 8, audit only or quarantine with block network or net-only intranet or something. Grace periods, enable notifications, even there, that is shown more in detail in that separate video I mentioned. Fine, that's all about the threats and patches. Let's go back to our new MSP edition. Software deployment. What do we have here? A lot of templates. Let's begin there. We have 120,000+ templates for Windows, Mac, Ubuntu, and Debian. What is a template? Let's go in there. We have the full installer in here. We can download it if we wish to, and we have the silent install and uninstall switches. Those switches, they are not really everywhere the same. So it is sometimes in enterprise environment difficult to find those switches. You have to search sometimes a lot, and the full installer is not available always too. You receive that download installers, and that's something we do not want in the enterprise environment. And Endpoint Central already delivers templates with all those information. So you could create a package out of here and deploy then that package. Let's say that 7-zip package I created today within out of the templates. It's done in a few seconds, and then you just click on deploy, install software computer or user, give it the policy anytime at the earliest, give it the target and deploy. And it's out there on that system. You even can modify those packages. Of course, you need to be able to modify those packages and you have pre and post deployment activities here, conditional checks or file folder operations, uninstall some software, post deployment activities. And within the uninstall section, done in the same package, you have all the same conditional possibilities. If you wish to add a known package because it's not available within the templates, just click on Add Package, Windows, Mac, for one particular customer or for all customers, and you choose MSI or EXE. There will be changing the install switches accordingly. You select the license type and drag and drop or browse the files, the installer files you need in there. There's a size limit within the Cloud Edition of 12 GB. And yeah, then you just add the pre-post deployment activities, and you have to fill out, of course, the advanced settings with the architecture and some application name, version, vendor data. That's it for a package to create. And packages can be bundled too. So you could add more packages together. Select more software. I don't have a lot of more software to add. It is already added. So, and you can align the software. So it will be installed in the sequence you add here. You always can add more per package. You could say run a system user or a specific user, even allowing interaction with the package. Well, deployment policy. If you have a software bundle, if you wish to install automatically software in a row after a fresh OS installation, you could go and specify a specific OU where it is listening. So joining a new computer within that OU would automatically add that software packages there. But I'm always saying that but. Listen, if you have let's say 1,000 computers where you install 7-zip out there, and only 50 systems, 50 users are using that software, you have 950 installations what you would need to patch and run after phages. These are 950 potential security risks. So why not using the self-service portal? It is easy to establish. Computers are user-based. Add the software you would like the users to install, and the users can do it on their own. Just deploy new computers with a basic configuration, like let's say an Office package, so that they can communicate, and then use them the self-service portal. The self-service portal, I'm showing it right now on my system how it looks like. It is nothing magic. Here it is. Just click on install or reinstall or uninstall. Something, all this the user can do on his own. Even the updates would be in here. It is nothing complicated. Everyone using a mobile phone has a more complicated app store in there. They're all used to use that. So they are able to use the self-service portal within Endpoint Central. And there are even reports then. You can have a reporting about the usage of the self-service portal and configure even the costs of an hour. How much would a support administrator would cost you in an hour? So you could define that here, configure ROI, and give it a amount, and you would have even an overview on how much money it saved. Fine, that's about the software deployment section. What else do we have? An inventory, of course. Every system has to have an inventory. We have here the computers. let's have a look about the computers, about the asset summary. Hardware, software lifecycle. I told you the hardware lifecycle would be in here, but this is a virtual machine. It won't expire the warranty. There is the systems view, services, users, groups, drivers, shares, hardware. About the battery, BIOS, monitors, network adapters, physical memory, what is in there, what is possible to implement to software, desktop apps, you can uninstall them here, store apps, metered software, software metering. This is something really cool when it comes to spare resources. You have to identify if software is used everywhere. Some costly software, you need to identify if it is really used on every system where it is installed. And with these reportings, you could do so. And in order to be GDPR compliant, you can export those data, those reports only with mask or remove personal information. Well, or retain personal information. But you have the ability to choose. Certificates. You can have a scan of all the certificates. The scan has not been running here, but all this could be done. A file details. That's a scan on what amount of audio files, for instance, with the memory usage of are on that system. And you can define even own file types for scanning. Security infos about BitLocker, antivirus, firewall, and of course, again, missing patches. A USB audit and a history with audit history, what has been done on that system, and a user logon history. All that available within the inventory view. What else do we have? A summarization of hardware, summarization of software, alerts. We have prohibited software. We could prohibit software. We could have it with an auto uninstall policy. Block executables with path and hash, all available. We have a license management in here. We could add licenses here with license files, invoice files, and a lot of data, and associate these licenses to the computers. Don't misunderstand me, please. It is not to be understood as a I will now start the licensing process on that system. No, it is just only an association for me. All right, then we do have alertings. If hardware is added or removed, software the same, license, disk space, we could proactively be informed about outrunning space, certificates when they expire, all those informations here. OS deployment. One of the new modules. What am I not able to do? I'm not able to deploy in Microsoft ISO file. This is an own creation from ManageEngine. You create an image from hardware. You can deploy that image hardware independent, and you could image even a virtual machine and deploy that. Drivers would be added through the driver repository. You add here your manually driver repository, and the OS deployment component would then look in that repository for the right drivers. Through the deployment template, we then tell the system, we choose the image here, we have a automatic gist adjustment, and we can generate a new SID. And here, even we can give an automatic name pattern or specify the computer name through the deployment. We have the domain join, what we could do in here, add or remove local users. Those are the user accounts maybe within the image. We could add own users, and if we have a domain join, we then can add even domain users. The images can be deployed through PXE, USB, and ISO, and even through remote offices it is possible if there is a distribution server. That's just an overview about the OS deployment. Then there is the mobile device management. What can we enroll? We can enroll Apple, Android, Windows, and Chrome OS. And we can have a containerization with bring your own devices, and even we can establish supervised devices. Supervised devices within Apple would be by associating the Apple Business Manager, and with Android we would have a QR code enrollment, a zero-touch enrollment. That's the Google pendant to the Apple Business Manager. We could have a Knox mobile enrollment and NFC enrollment. Even a self-enrollment through directory services is possible. The management, within the management, I build groups and I add devices to groups. And on these groups, I would then add policies, profiles, and applications. Profiles do manage what the system can do. There are iOS, Android, Windows, Chrome, Mac, or tvOS. Let's start with an Android. Normal MDM profile or an OEM profile. Yeah, for scanner devices, Zebra, Honeywell, Lenovo, Data Logic. There are a lot of devices we can add in here and configure with the profiles. You will just use here the normal MDM profile. Continue. Passcode complexity. High. Password should contain complex value. User-friendly 16 digits. Nice. And a lot of more restrictions and settings. We even could disable the biometrics. Then there are restriction sections with restrict camera and such. That this is not possible for a bring your own device is shown through those symbols. Yeah, it shows I need the full device management in order to be allowed to do a restriction on that system. Workspace security, Wi-Fi settings, Wi-Fi profiles. I have a VPN. I can establish Exchange Active Sync, a kiosk modus, and a lot more. It is hundreds of settings. Let's have a look about the profile on the iOS, how it looks like. Pretty much the same with the passcode, restrictions, camera restrictions, security. Here, restrict both ways, data sharing between managed and unmanaged apps, advanced security, iCloud, Wi-Fi, per app VPN, Exchange Active Sync and kiosk, and lots more possible within the iOS profile management. The app repository would be then where we associate the Apple business, the Apple Store, and the Google Store and the Windows Store, and we could then deploy those store apps. Even enterprise apps are possible. There's an auto-update policy and content management. Automate OS updates is possible too. Announcements, remote control, and a fence policy, even a geofencing is possible. So we could create a policy here when a device is without a selected area. We could immediately take action or a notification. We could enable lost mode or wipe that devices. Of course, there is a detailed audit implemented too. Browsers. Browsers is one of the new modules available within the security. Here we have the ability to manage the add-ons, have download filter, threat prevention, browser customizations, Windows, Mac. Let's customize the Google Chrome to have a look. Content restrictions, security restrictions, user account settings, homepage and startup, proxy, bookmark management. Set that browser as a default browser. All those settings are possible here. Browser router, browser lockdown, web filter. Yeah, a lot of possibilities. And of course, we have compliance reports, what we could set up by configuration. Computer, we have a look on that computer, could fix it, and within the dashboard, we have a totally overview. What next? We have the BitLocker Management. That's the easiest of those add-ons. We create policies for the encryption of the systems. We can update the recovery key to the domain controller. We can rotate it and deploy this policy to computer groups. The recovery key can be retrieved in here. The next tool is the application control. That's a cool thing. Within the application control, we can create allow and block lists. That's been done here. Create an allow list or a block list. Even file hash, folder path, store apps, products, you can filter that and create even a block list. And when we deploy this list, we deploy it on custom groups again, and we associate those policies. When we associate those policies, let's say an audit mode, and we do have a block list in here, would mean that in the audit mode, only the blocked applications won't run, but everything else will run. And we then have an overview in the systems view where we see the unmanaged apps, and we easily can identify and choose whether allow or block listing. Then after a certain time, when we work with this allow and block list within the audit mode, we might be able to switch to the strict mode. There is a just-in-time access possible too, allowing a user access to everything on a specific system. And the cool thing is the privilege management. You know that applications, we love them all. Yeah, those applications where would need a local admin account in order to be executed. Here, I will provide that software with elevated rights, and no local admin account will be needed again. Remove admin rights can be done here too. Well, then there is the tools section. We have a remote control system manager, remote shutdown, wake on LAN, chat enhancements, and system tools. The remote control. Within the remote control, I establish a remote session on the client. And through the user confirmation settings, I only can access this computer when it is locked with my own credentials then, or when the user provides allows my login. Within the three buttons, I can even establish a connection on the terminal server session. Connect, let's provide this is the usual way how we connect to a system. So now if it is locked, I just enter my credentials. Within here, we have the ability to see network statistics, blacken the screen, block the input devices. Yeah, it's in German. Excuse me, please. The system is in German. Then we have here some tools, energy options, lock the screen or sign out, have a reboot, safe mode reboot, or shut down. And we have quick launch, programs and features. We have a command, the command prompt or the device manager. Just with one click, let's go in there. Firewall settings, networks, registry, everything with one click. It comes in handy if the system is in a language I'm not aware of. And of course, if the system is slow already, it won't get faster when I'm establishing a remote session. What else do we have? We have administrator tools, clean up disks, and a GP update force, for example. A data transfer is available, a chat, a speech chat, and a video chat. Fine, let's go out here now. We do have the system manager on board, by meaning that I do not need always to establish a remote session. Let's switch into the task manager. It shows me all running processes and startup programs. The processes, I can kill them here. I have a command prompt, a PowerShell. I have the device manager, groups, hardware, printers, reg editor, registry editor, I have that too. And even the services, all installed services on that system. And within the action buttons, I have the start, can start, stop it, and even change the startup type. Then we do have remote shutdown abilities with more actions, restart, hibernate, log off, schedule, wake on LAN, chat, I already talked about that, announcements, and cleanup tasks with system tools. Last but not least, the reporting. we can schedule reports here, send them multiple times if we wish, once. Custom report builder, we have that too. Put your own reports and schedule them later. And we have predefined reports here, threads and patches report with some executive reports already ready to use, inventory reports, app control reports, and more. Coming back to the Home tab. Yeah, and that's it for with the Endpoint Central MSP, the new version. This is the Cloud Edition. The On-Prem Edition is nearly looking the same. Features are nearly the same. If you wish to try it, just go on to ManageEngine.com and register for a free trial of 30 days. That's it for today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching, and have fun with testing.